Good evening, fellow members. Ravindran, once again, I'm from Salem, and I'm very, very happy to invite you once again to the bank audit training series, which we used to call as BATS. And I'm very, very happy with short notice. Almost as of now, 64 friends, they have joined the presentation. And this year, we have to face a lot of bank audit problems, and the very, very important thing is you have to concentrate on LFAR, long form audit report, which is the very, very it's a new one introduced by Reserve Bank of India on 5/9/2020. Yeah, good evening, Bharat. On 5/9/2020, they have introduced the LFAR, and every word is important in the LFAR. Though I am not taking, I am going to concentrate on RBI surplus, but with caution, I want to say, I want to start the session, and if time permits, you download the LFAR from the site, then right now you start to read, so that when you go to the branch, you will be thorough with the LFAR points. Each and every point is they have tuned. And already when I talked to Abhinav sir, I said LFAR is a non-vegetarian LFAR this time, one. And second one is they have given much importance to test check items. And third one is they have given much importance to fraud column. And particularly, I request you to go through para number 4 of LFAR, 1, 2, third point. Third point is very, very important. You just go through it, then you know the seriousness. What is the meaning of transaction of audit in advances? Para 1, chapter of LFAR. See, say the Abhinav sir, we are covering RBI circular for LFAR. We are going to have a separate session, and we will go. And that was the meaning of, see, in LFAR, para 4, I said para 4, it is not para 1. It is para 4. It contains fraud. In the fraud, you go to point number 3. You'll see the seriousness of the LFAR. Now I am going to start with the RBI circulars. And the RBI circulars up to 3:30 in the evening. I verified the RBI circular, and there is no circular other than this. So far, they have not issued. And I am going to go in detail, and that too with the latest classification, with the latest rules and regulations that are applicable to the restructuring of advances to MSME sector, as well as the regulatory package given by the Reserve Bank of India due to COVID-19 situation. Then apart from that, I am going to cover Supreme Court case, Supreme Court decision, and about the classification of non-performing asset. And what are the related circulars that we are going to discuss today is MSME sector. MSME means medium, small, micro, small, medium enterprises. That also I have defined. The chart is there. What is MSME? That I'll tell later. The MSME sector, which normally we used to call it as small scale industries previously. And what about the restructuring rules? What about the restructuring definition? What about the restructuring decision given by the RBI with reference to the MSME sector? And this circular is applicable for the audit of 2021. And our friend asked, as clarified by the issued guidance note, the data integrity aspect is generally handled by data administrator level and the head office, corporate office. Branch do not have role to play. However, the data entry being done at the level of MIS. Yes, sir, I do agree. But you have been asked, Premila, Sumani, yes, sir, yes, I do agree with you. But you have to give a specific comment about the data entry, data administration in your long form audit report. That point we will decide. Please concentrate on the RBI circulars. First, I am going to say about MSME. Second one is COVID-19 regulatory package. Then third one is COVID-19 resolution timeliness with reference to resolution of stressed assets. With reference to resolution of stressed asset. And fourth one is entry order on NPA by Honorable Supreme Court. And what is the order that we are going to discuss, and what is the reaction that we have to receive, reaction that our government and the RBI has shown to this Supreme Court. That also will go. What our institute says with reference to the classification of NPA based on the interim order passed by the Supreme Court. And I request you to concentrate on the master circular on IRAC norms. That is master circular on income recognition, asset classification, provisioning, related matters dated 1/7/2015. I also request you to go through that circular because that will be helpful you while you do the NPA classification. MSME sector that I'm going to straight away start. These are the circulars that has been issued by the Reserve Bank of India, and all these circulars are applicable to statutory branch auditor, and this is applicable for the financial year 2021. That is, you have to refer DBR number, circular number 18 dated 1/1/19. Another circular is 34 dated 11/2/2020. And circular number 4 applicable for the, it has been issued during the year 2021 dated 6/8/2020. These are the three circulars which the Reserve Bank has issued to the restructuring of advances. So for this, they say that they can modify the terms and conditions, and everything is there in the restructuring of advances. Normally, prior to 1/1/2019, if any restructuring of any business, say whether it is a MSME or other units, if you do the restructuring, it will be downgraded, say from substandard to standard. Substandard to substandard. You will be downgraded when you do the restructuring of advances. Then that restructuring, after doing the restructuring, that asset which has been classified as substandard, that will remain as substandard for another period of 1 year. Then on seeing the operation, they will upgrade the transaction. But this restructuring advances circular issued by Reserve Bank of India to MSME sector, they say that the status, if the bank, they did a restructuring of MSME, the status continues. If it is standard, it is standard. Even NPA account also you can do it. Substandard as substandard. There is no question of downgrading. This is a very, very important thing. And the entire three circular, I have complied. I have compiled and present in a one simple tabular form. If you go through this, then you are a master in all this circular. And I have even compared, I will tell everything. Just it requires only 5 minutes reading, 5 minutes understanding. This portion of the table also I'll share to you through the mail or some WhatsApp group. In WhatsApp mode also I'll share. Either by tomorrow I'll share. If you go through it, it requires only 5 minutes easy understanding. This is the table. I have complied all the three circulars. One is dated 1/1/2019. Next one, they have issued on 11/2/2020. And third one, they have issued on 6/8/2020. What all these circulars says? Please see, when they issue 1/1/19, they say that the asset, when they want to restructure the MSME sector, they say that asset should be standard. Please don't scribble on the screen, sir. I think some friends, they have scribbled. Even right now also they are scribbling. So as on 1/1/2019, that asset should be a standard asset. And if on when they issue 11 to 2020, that is 1 year after, they say that that asset, MSME asset, should be standard as on 1/1/2020, and when they issue another circular dated 6/8/2020, they say that that asset should be standard asset as on 1/3/2020. Another important point you have to see it, if once you did a restructuring in any of the one circular, if you did any restructuring in any one of the circulars, you are not eligible. The party is not eligible to get the asset to be restructured once again. This point you have to bear in mind while you go to the audit. See, 1/1/2019, they did the restructuring, and to avoid NPA, to escape from the ICE, they say that 1/1/2020 also they did some restructuring. This is the point you have to bear in mind, and you have to see during the audit, as well as on 1/3/20 also they are doing. They will definitely do the restructuring. This point you have to bear in mind, and once if it is restructured, it cannot be restructured once again. So this point you have to bear in mind. And second one is aggregate fund-based and non-fund-based outstanding. It said outstanding, it is not the sanction limit. Aggregate fund-based and non-fund-based, and all the three circulars, it is 25 crores. So up to 25 crores of outstanding of funded and non-funded advance, you can do the restructuring of MSME. If it exists, then restructuring is not possible. Then this reschedulement or restructuring has to be implemented. They have issued the circular on 1/1/2019, but that restructuring has to be completed. Implementation has to be completed on or before 31/3/2020 in the first circular. Second circular, they postponed to 31/12/2020. But based on the circular issued on 6/8/2020, the branch that is reschedulement or restructuring has to be implemented. That is the date on which, after modification, when it comes into effect, that has to be completed on or before 31/3/2021. That means on the day you have to implement, and on the day their head office or branch, they will issue a circular based on that. The further transaction has to be carried out. Then they say that these MSME units should be a GST oriented one. Some MSME units, they are not coming under GST purview because they are coming below the 20 lakhs in case of service, and in case of sales, they come below the 40 lakhs. So GST is a must. Initially they said, after that they say that if the MSME units, if they have been exempted from getting the registration and GST also, they are also eligible to get the restructuring benefits. Then slipped into NPA and remain in same status up to date of implementation. See, that asset is a standard asset on 1/1/2019. After that, after restructuring notification, after restructuring done to the unit, if the unit comes into the purview of NPA definition or IRAC norms, that means if it is slipped into NPA, then you are not supposed to downgrade the account. You are not supposed to downgrade the account. That is on 2/1/2019. If you are after that, that is 1/1/2019, it is standard. If on 2/1/2019 it is substandard, then you are not supposed to downgrade the account from standard to substandard. So for all the three circulars, it is that. So 2/1/19, sir, please don't scribble on the screen, sir. Please, 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 please. I want to make a request. Please, almost one friend has already scribbled. And this is again, sir. Otherwise, I have to switch off and meeting. I have to end the meeting. Then I have to restart the session. Please don't scribble. I think members also they are able to see this scribbling. Okay, and it's a GST exempted. If it is that, then those units are eligible. Next one, If 1/1/2019 that asset is to be treated as standard, then on 2/1/19, if that account has become substandard, then the RBI clearly says that it has to be continued as a standard. You are not supposed to downgrade it. So this instruction helps the bankers to maintain the same status. But till the date of implementation, if the till the date of implementation, that is on this scheme has to be implemented up to this, within this date, this scheme has to be implemented. That is on 31/3/2020. As per the first circular, they have to do the NPA. Then they have to do the implementation. Then after that, you have to regularly apply IRAC norms. This is with reference to first circular. So, I mean, second circular, the date is 2/1/2020. Third circular is 2003/2020. Nagpal sir, sir, can we skip the next slide? Why? Hello, Nagpal? Why you said, sir, can we skip the next slide? It is appearing unnecessary. It is not unnecessary, sir. This is the base in which I have complied all the three circulars. To compile this circular, it took me more than 1.5 hours for your easy understanding. So it may be unnecessary for you, but for me, this is the base based on which you have to do the audit. And the third one, I mean, additional provision has to be made by the bank to the extent of 5% in addition to the regular provision. Suppose in substandard, they have to do 0.25% of total outstanding as provision, and some 40% of the outstanding you have to provide for D1. And if it is without security, you have to do it for 25%. That manner, you have to provide this provision. In addition to the NPA provision, if the MSME units have been restructured, then you have to adopt, you have to put 5% provision. 5% extra provision in the account. Okay, this one. Next thing. And if bank feels before the what is specified period, we will tell. At the end of the specified period, if the bank feels that they want to reverse, but they have to make the provision of 5%, but they want to make the provision of 5%. They don't want, they can do the reversal. They can do the reversal of the provisions. Because I am going to give importance to this presentation. Once again, I am going to explain, because few members now they have joined, but this is the base based on which you have to do the MSME restructuring. But you have to consider all the circulars in a whole, because if one restructuring is done based on first circular or second circular, that party is not eligible to get the restructuring. This is where the banks, they are hiding our eyes. So this is the first time we are doing the restructuring. Then if they are doing this type of restructuring, then you have to do the account analysis from 1/1/19 to up to this point. Please put your arrow on point which you are explaining. This one. Okay, I'll do. So I'll again, once again, Suraj, I'll repeat. In case a scheme is implemented, after that you have to do the regular IRAC norms. IRAC norms are applicable. So again, I'll repeat for in 5 minutes. I'll repeat. Then go to the next slide. The account should be standard as on this date: 1/1/19, 1/1/2020, 1/3/2020 for the entire three circulars. And the aggregate amount of funded and non-funded advance for this, it is 25 crores. That means other than if the outstanding amount exceeds 25 crore, that MSME is not eligible to get the restructuring benefits. So 25 crores is the limit max. It is only outstanding. It is not sanction limit. This point you have to bear in mind. Third one is reschedulement implementation. That means this scheme of has to be implemented on or before 31/3/20, 12/20 and 31/3/21 as per the latest circular dated 6/8/20. Reschedulement in one time, it's a one, I mean, sir, you are correct, it's a one-time facility to the borrowers. Once if it is done for 19, you are not eligible for 20 and August 20. If you are done for 20 and you are not eligible for this. So if you feel that for in the both circulars you are not done any reschedulement, then this based on this third circular, they will do the reschedulement, and additional provision have to be done. Yeah, Suraj, also it's a very good question you asked. Additional provision to be done on 5% outstanding amount. Yeah, any provision you have to make based on the outstanding amount. It is not based on the sanction amount. Whether it's a standard assets, substandard assets, or doubtful assets, you have to make provision based on the outstanding amount. This point you have to bear in mind. Next one is how to check it's already done. Yeah, Suraj, that's why I said you have to view the account of that party from 1/1/19 to till your audit. So if you take note of it, if any reschedulement is done, that will be marked in the master record of the of that customer. So you have to go to the system and you have to check whether any reschedulement is done or not, and for that you will be getting the file parties file. If you happen to see, then you can take note of everything. This is the manner you have to check. And third one is that MSME unit, it may be GST exempted, or it may be what we can say, it may be GST oriented. Whether it's a GST oriented or GST exempted, you have to verify. Both, I mean, all the units are eligible. And GST is exempt. Then it should not be slipped after restructuring till date of implementation. If it has been standard as on 1/1/2019, the same status you have to carry till 31/3/2020, because that is the last date for the reschedulement or restructuring implementation. Credit file of the customer will reveal. Yes, sir, Murali sir, that is correct. That's why you ask for the file of the customer, you can see everything. Sir, is a reschedulement, restructure. Rescheduler means you are modifying the terms and conditions. You are modifying the terms and conditions, everything. Here it is not, sir. It's restructuring means the status is being postponed to, that is due date is being extended without extending the terms and conditions, without modifying the EMI. That comes in the restructuring. But in reschedulement, you have to modify the entire terms and conditions, EMI mode and everything. But this MSME circular, they say that it is restructuring. Please explain 2/1/2019 date, because it's a very good. Sir, please observe. It is 1/1/2019. The account should be standard. So further, after 1/1/2019, even though the account has become substandard as on 2/1/19, that account should not be treated as substandard. It has continued to be enjoyed. Sir, most don't put the pen or a thing in the screen, sir. And after that, even 2/1/2019, if that account has become substandard, you have to treat that asset as standard. Then you have to make additional provision of 5% in addition to other regular provisions made by the bank. But at the end of the specific period, if the bank feels they can reverse this 5% and they need not apply this 5% extra provision. And after the date of implementation, if the account slips into NPA, you have to follow the regular IRAC norms. So what to do with this? Was scribbling. Actually, sir, all are gentlemen, sir. All are our friends. All are thing. So whatever you want to write, you write it on the book, sir, and not on the screen or something. Next thing, I am going to the next important point that you have to consider with reference to the Um, these are very, very important. The date of circular, from the date of circular, if once slipped into NPA, even after reschedule it, classified, no, till the date of implementation, they say that this scheme is for this party, the repayment has to start from this date. The principal has to be paid. The interest has to be paid. For that, they are fixing some date as per the board's policy. From that date, the party has to follow the regular norms. If it is not followed, then NPA norms are applicable. From the date of circular, within 30 days, board policy has to be formulated. The circular, first circular is 1/1/2019. From 1/1/2019, within 30 days, the bank's board, they have to form a policy, board policy. What are the things that the branch has to carry out with reference to restructuring? What are the terms and conditions? Everything they will put in the board policy decision. After that, on another circular is 1/1/2020. Next circular is 6/8/2020. In all these circulars, within 30 days, a board policy with reference to restructuring has to be done. So that means the branch has to follow the board's policy. What are the rules? What are the conditions that is stated in the board circular, board policy? The branch manager, he has to implement. Next point is documents and arrangements between the lender and borrower. See, because when you do the restructuring, the branch has to exhibit a fresh document with reference to the restructuring, because the existing document still holds good, but for restructuring, they say that you have to receive a separate document. You have to receive a separate arrangement, whether in which date the scheme has to be implemented. And they have to put all other terms and conditions. If you are not following the terms and conditions or that is stated in the restructuring or sanction order, then your account will become NPA as per the regular IRAC norms. This one you have to bear in mind. So that means whenever you are going for the audit, and if you happen to see any restructuring advances, you have to see the documents again. And you need not bother about the documents for 1/1/19. You have to be, even for 1/3/20 also, you need not bother. We are going for audit for the year 2021. So you have to take care of the restructuring done on 6/8/2020 with the document verification, because it has to be assumed that the document of 1/1/19, document of 1/1/2020, they have already been verified by the previous auditors. So we are concerned with the latest thing, 6/8/2020 circular. And for this, in case the sanction letter says, you have to create a security charge. If it is before the ROC, you have to create. If it is before the registrar, sometimes these terms and conditions have to be registered as per the board's policy. If that is there, you have to go and register this restructuring advances details with the sub-registrar. One. Otherwise, if it's a limited company, you can create a charge, or you can create a modified charge with the reference to restructuring before ROC. Next one is a perfection of securities compiled by the lenders. Who are our lenders? Bankers are lenders. So they have to fulfill all the documents prescribed by the banks in a correct manner. So what is the prescribed document? Now, when you go to the bank, you can see the prescribed format of the restructuring of MSME advances. So you have to see this here. You can ask the manager, sir, can you produce the circular with reference to restructuring? So what can I do for this? Someone has painted. So this time, participants, please cooperate. They are not cooperating. I already said don't scribble. And if perfection of securities, you have to, whether all the securities have been included in the and format or not, that you have to see. Next one is, as per the sanction terms and conditions of restructuring, sometimes as per the board's policy, the customer, he has to introduce some additional capital. They may put, the party has to bring, say 1 lakh, then only restructuring has to be done. Sometimes they have to modify the new capital. They can say that some additional capital has to be introduced before restructuring. For this, I once again request you to go and read the sanction terms and conditions with the reference to restructuring of advances. And if they say orally, that is not a valid one. For any correction of reschedulement or restructuring, the bank, they have to get the approval from the controlling authorities, and the controlling authorities, they have to give the instruction to the branch, and all the terms and conditions have to be clearly mentioned in the restructuring, and the borrower, he has to fulfill all the restructuring conditions in advance. So please, this point you have to bear in mind. And sir, what fresh sanction letter will be issued to the applicant for? Yes, Shilpa, they have to issue a fresh sanction letter with a specific reference to restructuring. This sanction letter has to follow the bank's board policy. So one thing you have to see, from the date of circular, you have to, the board has to form a policy within 30 days. So as a statutory branch auditor, you need not worry about it. It is the lookout of the central statutory auditor. So as a branch auditor, you have to see only the sanction letter. And you can ask the branch to produce board policy matters. You have to go through it. Suppose the manager himself, he restructured the advances, whether the restructuring is done as per the instruction given by the board's policy. That point you have to see. And what is the new capital structure, that also you have to verify. Next one is post restructuring. Yes, I have done the restructuring. Then after that, from the date, if no repayment is done as per the terms and conditions stated in the sanction letter of restructuring, they say that you have to remit 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. If the 10,000 is not being paid on the due date, then from that date, 90 days norms you have to apply, and you have to do the NPA classification. Whether EM agreement should be modified for change. Sir, you have to modify all the security documents, all the securities, including equitable mortgage agreement also. In the equitable mortgage agreement, they used to say that this is the condition, this is the date within which you have to make the payment. There you are modifying the date. So that condition also you have to include, you have to modify the EM also. For that also you will get a specific form. You please ask. Then post restructuring of NPA IRAC norms applicable as usual. So you have to calculate the regular IRAC norm rules. Sir, you are the host. You will be able to, those who is, yeah, Janak, you are correct. Please remove the person and note for the future webinar. Yes, sir. But I'll definitely make a call to them after the session because I want to honor all the members. You are here, though I am inviting you. You are here and you have respected my invitation, and I am respecting everyone. I am respecting everyone, whether you are a senior, whether you are a junior. Please don't do it. It's only a request I want to make. And also you can go to the setting and lock the meeting also. Yes, sir. Sir, I need everyone to be enriched with the bank knowledge. Please cooperate. That's all. Anyhow, I'll definitely call them and tell. It is up to, they have to behave, sir. It is, you have to behave and not me. Okay. And I'm going to the other points. What is the other point is specified period. What is specified period? They say that after specified period, the bank, what is new capital? Yeah, Suraj, you asked about new capital. The branch board say that the customer, in order to have restructuring, they say that you first introduce 50,000. Why they insist for 50,000? If they introduce 50,000 capital, the unit will be safe. They thought, otherwise they can bring 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. For this, you have to refer the board's policy. Even sometimes boards say that you need not you need not bring the new capital. So that's why I said you go to the new bank's policy. board policy, and also you have to go through the sanction letter issued by the bank, based on which you have to do the audit. Not only this NPA audit, restructuring audit, any bank audit, you have to call for the sanction letter. Based on the sanction letter only, you have to do the audit. Yes, sir. Suraj, you are correct. Like same in most of the, not in most of the sanctions, sir. All sanction of the loan, you have to go only according to the sanction letter. Sanction letter is the trump card. It contains everything. The borrower, the branch manager, everyone has to follow only the sanction letter. What is a specified period? Period of 1 year from the commencement of, see, they use the word period of 1 year from the commencement of the first payment of principal or interest, whichever is later. So 1 year from the commencement of first payment of principal or interest, whichever is later. Whether interest comes first or principal comes first. From that, on the credit facility with the longest period of moratorium. So you have to say which one comes first, whether it is interest or principal. So if principal comes later, from the principal you have to take 1 year. That is called as specified period. Only after that specified period, the bank can reverse the additional provision of 5%. But till the date of implementation, asset need not be downgraded. Then disclose this is very, very important this year. You have to take note of it. This point you have to give it in the notes of accounts relating to the MSME restructuring. Suppose if the bankers, they did the restructuring in the notes of accounts in your main audit report, you have to see that this for the following MSME accounts, the branch has done the restructuring, the date of restructuring, date of implementation, the party name, account name, the amount, everything you have to give in that notes of account. You have to prepare your tabular column and you have to give that point in the notes of account. This is also, it's a condition that is stated in the that circular. Next one is NPAs can also be restructured, but same status continues. So normally the bankers, they restructure the standard because if they felt that within 2 months that account will become NPA. To avoid that, they will do the restructuring. Yes, even sometimes the NPA accounts, in order to not to bring into the other category, say from substandard to doubtful, from D1 to D2, D2 to D3, those advances, though those advances are NPAs, they can also be restructured, but with the same status continues. NPA can be restructured, Suraj. NPA can also be restructured, but the status again it has been extended for another 1 year. That's all. It has been extended for another 1 year in the normal terms. But for this, you have to go and refer the sanction letter. And one-time exception. Normal rescheduling done. Normally, it downgraded the account and not at this time. So the restructuring has to be done only once from 1119, 11/2020 circular or 6/2020 circular. This has to be done only once. If any restructuring done between these 3 circulars, no further restructuring is allowed. So it's a one-time sanction. Normally, whenever you are doing restructuring, the status has been downgraded, say from standard to substandard. But in this case, the status continues because when you do the restructuring, that account cannot be termed as NPA because you have to consider the date of standard. That is for the reference to first circular, the date of standard is 1/1/19, second circular 1/2020, and third circular it is 1/3/2020. So you have to see whether that account is standard or not on 1/3/2020. So normally what we will do, an NPA can be registered, then benefit. Yeah, I'll tell the what is the benefit. So Suraj asked, what is the benefit? See, if the account slips from substandard to D1, the branch has to make high provision. If the same status continues, only the regular provision, say if it is 25%, only 25% can be provided. If it slips from substandard to D1, you have to make 40% provision. That is the thing. benefit in case of so normally bankers, they don't want to make high provision. If they make high provision, then profit will be reduced. Circular says asset has to be standard. Whether MOS can be, yes. What's it? MOSS.
Sorry, sir. It is NPS. Whether NPS can be restructured. That was.
Yes, sir. It is clearly stated in the circular, sir. Subramanian Ganapathy, sir. It is clearly stated in the circular. Please go through the circular. And tomorrow morning, I will send another Google form for this circular. You just fill it, send the circular form, that Google form to me. I will directly upload all the latest NPS circulars to your mail ID. Because I have already compiled everything. It's only a gist which I am giving the presentation, but I'll send you all the latest circulars to you through your mail. Okay, Ganapathy sir.
So, thank you. Thank you.
The benefit in case of NPA restructure, this is a benefit because standard they have to make provision of 0.25. In case of substandard, they have to make a provision of 15%. If the property is having security, without security, you have to make 25%. If the property comes to from substandard to D1, you have to make high provision. If you continue the status for 1 year, there is no need of high provision. You need not go from 25 to 40%. And satisfactory performance. What is satisfactory performance? Is outstanding amount shall not be more than the sanctioned limit or DP, whichever is lower, for a period of more than 30 days. It is in simple term, we can understand there is an outstanding amount. It should not be more than the sanction limit. Okay. The DP, drawing power. You can save this, you can avail from, you can note from the stock and debtors calculation. It should not be more. So that means the sanction, see what is the sanction limit? 10 lakhs. If as per the loan terms and conditions, that DP is, it should be 7 lakhs. So the outstanding limit should not be more than 7 lakhs for a period of 30 days. At least that means on one particular day, the limit should brought down the DP or brought down the sanction limit. This is called as satisfactory performance. If the only when the satisfactory performance is there, you need not worry about the IRAC norms. If there is no satisfactory performance, then the rules of IRAC norms, as usual, it is applicable. Please mail the circulars to PPT, Lalita madam. No problem. Tonight I'll send the Google form. You just fill it. That Google form is only for only to send the RBI circulars to your mail. There is no commitment. I'll send it. So let last one again explain. Okay, satisfactory performance. Outstanding in the above. Okay, satisfactory performance. Say outstanding in the account you take. Now sanction limit. This outstanding should not exceed the sanction limit for a period of 30 days. This is one condition. Next one is the outstanding should not exceed the DP for a period of 30 days. If not there, then that account has to be treated as satisfactory performance account. Then if that account is not satisfactory performance, you have to follow the regular NPA norms or IRAC norms. And now I am going to say, see this the member should not done this. Okay. Then what is the auditor point in LFIR? Yes, Suraj, in the 11th form audit report, there is a specific command from the points with reference to restructuring of advances. There you have to give us all the comments. And you go to the LFIR and you can see whether any advances have been restructured during the year. Then if that is there, then you have to, whatever you have observed during the verification, every point you have to record in the LFIR. It's a specific command. We check all the 365 days for such account. Just within 1 minute, you can check each and every. Just you have to, you know the sanction limit, you know the outstanding. Even if you are very thorough with the Excel tool, then you can do it. Otherwise, if you are not thorough with the Excel tool, then you can, even the manual also you can do it. What is the sanction limit and what is the outstanding limit? Just within seconds, you can, just by adopting this technique, you can do the verification. And this is the definition with reference to MSME. What are the units that have been covered by MSME? That is investment in plant and machinery or equipment. See, previously, before this definition, the MSME means they consider only the investment in plant and machinery and not in other things. But as for the new definition, they have also included the turnover. So as for the MSME definition, MSME, that is micro, if you want to say that the investment in the plant and machinery or equipment, but this does not include land and building and furniture and fittings. You have to exclude, and only tangible assets you have to see. That means you should not add goodwill to this. So investment in plant and machinery or equipment, the investment should not exceed 1 crore, 10 crore, 50 crores. One. And the investment in plant and machinery or equipment should not include land and building and furniture and fittings. You have to exclude it, then only you have to calculate the investment part. Then in case of turnover, it should not exceed 5 crore, 50 crore, 250 crore, excluding export sales and export services. That means there is no import sales. Import sales means it's a purchase. That means you have to consider only the domestic trade. That trade should turnover should exclude export sales and export services. Here I want to say one thing. Should power generating equipment be included as an investment in? Yes, sir. If it is termed as machinery, then any equipment you have to include, but it should not include land. They are clearly defined land and building as well as furniture and fittings. So only these two items you have to exclude, but all other items you can add, provided only all those items are tangible. Sir, you have to follow this definition only. This is the latest MSME classification. You have to follow this. You have to forget old. Previously, the up to 31,320, you can consider this. You can consider previous. For this year, you have to consider this new definition of MSME. And what is the checking point? What are the checking points for this? MSME Act exempts power generating equipments for investment in plant and machinery. Should we follow the MSME Act, sir? To whether it is being exempted or not, to get the MSME registration certificate, you have to include all the equipments. So, sir, does not mean that all the power producing units have been exempted from MSME, but to consider the MSME definition, that is included. They never say that all the exempted items. They say that all the equipments have to be included. And only they are given specific exemption with reference to land and building and furniture and fittings. You have to include for the purpose of MSME definition. Then what are the other checking points with reference to it? First thing, you have to get the Udyam registration certificate. They say that it is a MSME unit. Yeah, all the MSME units have to be restructured. So you have to consider only the Udyam registration. Now I'll tell, initially it was small scale industries registration, SSI certificate. Next, they have transferred to EM, Entrepreneur Memorandum. Then that Entrepreneur Memorandum has been shifted to Udyog Aadhar registration certificate. Then from Udyog Aadhar certificate, now the present government say that it has to be called as Udyam registration. Up to Udyog Aadhar registration certificate, they have considered only the investment in plant and machinery, excluding land and building and furniture. But they never considered the turnover. But here, with the introduction of Udyam registration, they have considered the investment in plant and machinery plus the turnover. By looking into the definition, by looking into the turnover, by looking into the investment in machinery, you can classify the status, whether it is a micro enterprise or medium enterprise or small enterprise, that you have to do it. So for this, you have to get the registration done. So 1 second. Yes, sir. Correct. You have to call for the, you have to verify the Udyam registration. This Udyam registration certificate has to be obtained on or before 31/3/2021. That means all the existing SSI, all the existing EM registration, and all the existing Udyavada certificate units, they have to convert and register as Udyam registration. So this is the point that you have to bear in mind. All the existing EM, so in this AR audit, you have to see whether the borrower has obtained the Udyam registration certificate or not on or before 31/3/2021. This point you have to see, because only those units are eligible to be restructured as MSME units. Sir, is it the investment cost or WDV? Yes, sir, it's a very good point. It's only the WDV. It is not the, because already it's gone. So on the data verification, what is the total cost of the machinery? They say that it's only WDV, because after providing depreciation, there is no cost. Based on that also, you can say that whether it's a MSME, whether it's a small unit, micro unit, everything you can do it. So next one is Jigdev asked turnover on 31/3/2021. Yes, sir. WDV means written down value. As per the accounting, depreciation, after depreciation, what the figure comes, that is called as WDV. Yeah. Udyam registration, this point you have to bear in mind. This year you will get a lot of information. You have to give a lot of report in this. Yeah, Lalita said cost as investment. We consider now WDV. Sir, Lalita and Suraj, whether it's a WDV or cost, you just go through the circular of the that MSME industry. According to me, when I read, it is WDV, and Lalita said it's a cost as the investment. Suppose if I invested some 25 lakhs some 10 years back, can we consider the same cost as investment? No. Sometimes obsolete. It may be obsolete one. So they at one point of time they say that it is WDV. Anyhow, you once again go through it. When I read, it is WDV, and Lalita said it's a cost of investment. MSME say that it is WDV or not. So for me, it is WDV, because some 10 years back you invested in machinery. Now, what is the present value only you have to consider? That is the investment cost. Okay, Udyam registration. Please see on or before 31/3/2021. All the existing. This point is an audit point. All the existing SSI certificate, the entrepreneur memorandum certificate, Udyavada certificates, they have to get the registration and under Udyam registration. Okay, sir, I will read it again, and thank you, Lalita. And Udyam registration. Next one is you have to see the evidence for aggregate exposure. For this, they are insisting for CA certificate. Now, bankers, they started to insist what is the aggregate turnover, total turnover of the party. Now they are insisting a certificate from the chartered accountant, whether that certificate is available or not, that also you have to see. And now they are saying that you have to get the GST registration certificate. And I asked one question in one of the meetings to another faculty, sir, whether MSME registration only when the available only after is it? Hello. GST registration, whether it is required or not for the MSME, because you are going to restructure MSME. So what are the rules applicable for the MSME that you have to go through it? What are the rules that is available? So then registration certificate is required. See, on the date of restructuring, the company or the unit, they should have MSME registration. Even though they are not having MSME, even they can get the Udyam registration certificate, and they have to submit the Udyam registration certificate to the banker. They can do it. they can do the restructuring, and you have to see whether those units have got a GST registration or not. Even if there is GST registration certificate, then you have to see the certificate. I mean, you have to get the certificate from the chartered accountant. These are the turnover, because you have to see under which category that unit comes, whether it comes under micro or small or medium enterprises, that you have to see. Next one is check the status of the account. You have to check whether that account is standard or substandard. That point also you have to check. Next one is check the overdues on the relevant date. You have to check whether the overdue on the relevant date. They say that that account is standard, but it is not substandard. And moreover, there will be some overdue will be there. Okay. From the due date, if the amount is not being paid, then you have to classify that account as either as SMA 0, 1, 2. But check the overdues. If the what is the extent of overdues, and if the overdues exceeds 90 days, then you have to classify that.
Bottle. இது வேணுமா வாங்கிக்கோ, சிப்ஸ் சாப்பிடு. வாங்கிக்கோ, எது வேணுமோ வாங்கிக்கோ.
Next one is evidence for confirmation. This also you have to get a chartered accountant certificate. Evidence for confirmation of implementation when the scheme is being implemented. For this, the bankers, they have given the time on or before this date. You have to implement the restructuring. We have to implement the unit commencement, everything. What are the terms that has been mentioned, the sanction terms and conditions? The chartered accountant, he has to give the certificate that the units has already been, all the restructuring conditions have been fulfilled. From this date, the unit has started to repay the loan. So that date of implementation, for that, the bankers, they will insist for the chartered accountant certificate. Point 2, yeah, I have muted everyone now, and before going to that, our friend Abhinav sir has asked, banks are confusing by GST number. Even if trading concern having GST number, it means eligible. See, trading concerns, I want to say that trading concerns are not eligible to get its turnover register under Udyam registrations, Udyam scheme 1. And you can see the sanction letter. This loan is being sanctioned for the purpose of trading. And if the party produce MSME certificate towards processing, that is invalid, because loan is sanctioned towards trading, but certificate is available for processing. Yeah, for processing, you can give a declaration that I am going to do some processing work of, say, paddy. But loan is being given to purchase and sales of paddy. If it is a trading concern, they are not eligible to get the MSME definition benefits. But if it is a processing, they are eligible, but loan is sanctioned towards trade, so that unit is not eligible to be treated as MSME. But if the processing work is being included in the sanction letter, then that unit is eligible to get all the benefits of MSME restructuring. And banks are confusing by GST number. See, GA say that it's only GST number. GST number, don't worry. Udyam registration is different. GST registration is different. Yeah, and next one is point 2 again. So I asked point 2, evidence for aggregate. Sir, it is nothing but turnover, sir. What is the actual turnover that the party, that the chartered accountant, he has to give? See, for this year, 1419 to 31,320, this is the turnover. If the books have been completed and if the total turnover is for the period of 14,920 to 21, this is turnover. This is nothing but aggregate turnover. Aggregate exposure means what is the investment totally they made in machinery, what is the investment they made in turnover. According to the chartered accountant has to certify that this party has made the investment in machinery. This is the machinery cost as on this date, and this is the turnover up to this date they have made. So this is the aggregate certificate the chartered accountant has to give. And point number 4, check the overdue. Point number 4, check status. NPA identification, which is the NPA identification is the point of check the status. Presume that these conditions would be class members, they have to follow. Then pure trading, presume that these conditions would be present in the sanction. Yes, sir. If the trading is there, they are not eligible for MSME. But in the sanction letter, they say that they are doing trading as well as the processing activity. Then the processing activity is being treated as MSME activity. They are eligible to be treated as MSME because to trade, they have to process. So purchase of paddy, process it, and they are selling it. So it's a process is there, then MSME is eligible, but pure trading, they are not eligible to be registered under MSME. Then not eligible for, yes, sir, Suraj, you are correct. Pure trading activities are not eligible to get the MSME certificate. And we are going for the, up to now, we have discussed about the MSME restructuring. Next one, we are going to discuss about the regulatory package of the COVID-19. Please refer the following circulars. For this, they have issued 1, 2, 3, 4 circulars. One is rescheduling of term loan and working capital loan. I think they have given importance only to MSME. Now it is reschedulement of term loan and working capital. And the second point is extension of timeliness for resolution of standard assets, in asset classification and provisioning. The fourth one is rescheduling of term loan and working capital facilities. For this, they have issued 4 circulars. We'll go one by one. Now we are going to discuss about the term loan rescheduling. See, on 29/2020, that account should be a standard asset, whether it's a term loan or working capital. On 29/2020, that account should be treated as standard. All those standard accounts, they can postpone the payment of EMI till payment of principal 31/5/2020. Payment of EMI, interest, and the principal. The moratorium, the Reserve Bank has given all those units which have been classified as standard as on 29/2020 up to 31/5/2020. After that, they have further extended the moratorium period to another 3 months. So up to 31/8/2020. So here the very important point which I observe from this is a term loan or cash credit loan is a standard as on 29/2020. You have to extend the standard cash status to 31/8/2020. So even there was a fall, there was a slippage of account from 1/3/2020 to 31/8/2020. That account need not be classified as the substandard or doubtful asset or loss asset. So you have to see that as on 29/2/2020, that account has to be treated as NPA. Then classification of that status, whose responsibility? It is the responsibility of the previous auditor. That is was done for 31/3/2020. But if you identify that classification is wrong, you can give your own view on it. But normally we have to rely on the previous auditor because up to 31/3/2020, the assets have been classified as substandard standard, then you need not worry. And if you see that after 29/2020, the statutory auditor feels that account has become NPA. Okay, if that account has become NPA after 29/2020, you need not worry. They say that up to 2029/2020, that account should be treated as standard. If that account is treated as standard as on 29/2020, from 1/3/2020 to 31/8/2020, there is no change of status with reference to standard to substandard. Same status as on 29/2020 continues. This moratorium is eligible only to the standard accounts and not to these NPA accounts. This point you have to bear in mind. This moratorium is eligible only for the standard assets, standard advances, and not for the NPA accounts. If the branch has given this concession to this moratorium concession to NPA accounts, then that decision of the branch or bank is wrong. This point you have to bear in mind. So as on, once again repeating, 29 to 2020, that account should be treated as standard. Only those accounts are eligible to be eligible to get the moratorium benefit. NPA accounts, they are not eligible to get the moratorium benefits. Okay, this is one. And normally to avoid NPA, the branch, they would have extended the concession to all the units irrespective of the status. So here the auditor role comes. You have to go and verify. You have to go and verify whether the NPA accounts have been rescheduled or the NPA accounts have got the benefit of moratorium or not. If that is there, then you have to do the MOC, memorandum of changes, and you have to change the status from, if they say that if substandard asset, they extended the moratorium, you have to do the regular IRAC norms working, and you have to identify whether that account is whether that account is performing or not. Abhinav said, sir, if account was NPA on 29/2003, moratorium is not available. They say that that account should be standard as on 29/2020. Only those accounts are eligible to get the moratorium. You said on 29/2020 that account has become NPA, but shown as standard by bank, wrong. These account also cannot be classified as NPA now. Then how we will report this account? Yes, sir, you have to change the MOC. You have to recommend for provision, because the moratorium benefit is applicable only for the standard asset, and it is not applicable for NPA, whatever be the date. If the account has become NPA on 29/2020, normally no reschedulement, moratorium benefits should not be given to this, and you have to do the regular IRAC norm working. You have to identify whether it has crossed 90 days or not. And for 1 year, you have to do the from the standard to substandard 1 year. Then there is NPA date to another 1 year, 12 months. It is substandard. From there, for another 1 year, it is D1, D2, D3, and last year. This working, you have to do it. Yeah. Okay. Then I mean the account. Yes, sir. I mean the account. Yeah. If they have not classified, it is why you have been sent. You are there. You have to do the working. You have to report it. Next point, you have to see advance should be standard as on 29/2020. This point, this date is very, very important. You have to remember this date, 29/2020. Even in the case of emergency credit line loan, they say that that account should be standard as on 29/2020. Then only that account is eligible to get the additional benefit of 20%. So the advance date, advance amount, that advance amount should be standard as on 29/2020. Next point is principal or interest has to be postponed up to the moratorium period. So there is no need to repay the principal or interest. The postponement done due of principal and interest has been postponed till 31/8/2020. This point you have to bear in mind. You have to remember the date 29/2020. You have to see that that asset, that account, loan account is to be treated as standard, and moratorium, then only moratorium benefits are applicable. In case the branch has given the moratorium to all the accounts, irrespective of the standard or NPA, that is a wrong thing. The standard assets, they are eligible for moratorium, and if they are given to substandard asset, you have to reverse and put that in memorandum of changes. We should also insist for the pre-closing loan IRAC status for the yes, sir. Nakpal sir, you can ask anything in audit. You can ask any details. If you want to give a correct reply, a correct status, you can ask any details from the branch manager. If they are not producing those records, those points, those evidences, then don't worry at all, be cool. You have to give a specified report in your main report. I ask is sometimes if there is any fraud, then you will be caught. Because to avoid the fraud or some irregularities, the manager normally they used to avoid in giving the records. If they refuse to give the records, then you have to commit that point in your report. Yeah. Next one is interest portion continue to be approved. But they say that only the repayment of interest and principal is being postponed. But they never say that there is no need to pay the interest. Interest has continued to be accrued to the loan. But this interest, the interest towards the loan has been postponed up to 31/8/2020. If the borrower has paid a few installments despite bank giving moratorium, should we presume that the moratorium has not been availed? No, sir. It is up to the moratorium. Bankers, they have given the moratorium. But if the borrower wants that, if they want to make the payment, irrespective of the moratorium, it is allowed. It's a very good question, sir. I think was asked this. It's a very good question. I think Janak, no, actually was asked. We should also insist the closing after the borrower has paid. Yeah, Shrikant sir, it's a very good observation. The borrower is entitled to get the moratorium. He is allowed to make the payment. Bank, they will not say no. Because it is his right, he can continue to make the payment. Suppose if he is not able to repay, few customers, if they are not able to repay, they will be coming under the shelter of moratorium. And another question asked by emergency credit loan are available to SMA-0, SMA-1 loans also. Yes, sir. Because as on 29/2/2020, that account should be treated as standard. Only those accounts are eligible to get the emergency credit loans and no one else. If the NPA, that means NPA accounts, they are not eligible to get the loans under emergency credit line. We can give 20%, not up to 20%. They use the word up to 20% that borrower is eligible. They never say that compulsorily you have to give 20%. If the manager feels that I can give you only 5%, yes, you have to accept. Otherwise, it is up to the manager. They need not, the government never force the branch to give. But up to 20%, they indirectly they are forcing to give the loan, but up to 20%. It is not 20%. This is a thing you have to remember. And if the borrower, one second, the question which I've received is, if the borrower has paid few installments, okay. It's what's it? If the borrower has paid despite back fee, okay. Suraj asked, sir, it's right for the principal and interest postponed, then how to check the red flag accounts? See, what is red flag account that you have to see? It's a quick mortality account, and if it is if any raid is being conducted by the that is regulatory authorities or any tax authorities, then those accounts have to be treated as red flag account. The Suraj sir asked whether it's applicable for the red flag account. See, red flag account, they have given the definition that some irregularities or some mischief is there in that account, one, and any overdues are there also there in the quick mortality. We can say that quick mortality account plus including the raids conducted by the regulatory authorities as well as tax authorities. If that is the case, then you have to classify that account as red flag account, and the bankers, they have to conduct a specified verification of those accounts, and they have to certify that there is no fraud involved in that account. So this is a very, very dangerous thing, and this red flag account verification is included in this LFAR. And even after 31/8/2020, how the advanced classification after Supreme Court judgment? Yogesh sir, you don't know, I don't know, even nobody knows, including government, they don't know what to do. Those accounts which have been classified, which we have to classify after 31/8/2020. Supreme Court stayed the classification of advances through its interim order. That also we will discuss in detail after that. Please also discuss this restructuring of agricultural advances. They say that it is term loan and working capital loan. Those loans can also be called as the, this also includes the agricultural advances So you have to normally, you have to do it on, they say that on 29/2/2020, you have to consider only those advances. So it includes, according to me, it also includes the classification, restructuring of agriculture advances. But for this, the bank, they have to give a specific order regarding this. We can ask the manager to give the list of the accounts enjoying moratorium. Yeah, you can ask Subramanian, you can ask for the list. Sir, can you please relaunch your PPT? There's so many lines are appearing in PPT. Okay, sir, no problem. In just another 15-20 minutes, I will complete the presentation. Okay, this time, this is our, what's that? We are unlucky because of this happening like this. And interest portion continue to be accrued. Next one is whether to calculate the simple interest or compound interest. Still, that decision has to be made. That decision has to be made by the Reserve Bank of India. Still, the branch has to get the decision. But they say, they say that only the classification of advances as standard or substandard is being postponed. But the Supreme Court never, according to me, the Supreme Court say that the bank, they can go and collect the interest. They can go and collect the interest. They have not stopped the collection of interest. They are not stopped the collection of principal. But it does not make, if the party is not ready to make the payment, if the party has not paid them dues, then that account will not be treated as substandard after 31/8/2020 as per the Supreme Court interim order. This is applicable to individuals, corporate loans other than MSME. Yes, for MSME, they are given a separate circular. Other than the MSME, these 4 circulars are applicable. According to my information, only the simple interest. Yeah, Kumarasamy says still there's a confusion from the banker side, even from the borrower side. Borrowers say that they say that you have to adopt only simple, but bankers, they say that we will charge only accrual interest. No, another very important thing is that it has got no CIBIL effect. It has got no CIBIL effect because of this reschedulement. Because if the loan is being due dates have been postponed from 1/3/2020 to 31/8/2020, the government says it is not a default transaction and it should not have any effect on CIBIL. This is a clear instruction given by the bank. Shrikant sir, we should not go for contempt of court, and we will discuss this point at a later, in another 2 slides we will discuss. And next thing I'm going to say about the cash credit rescheduling. Cash credit rescheduling, that is the account as usual, that account should be standard as on 29/2020. Recovery of interest is being postponed till 31/8/2020. So recovery they are postponed, but after that the court says that they have to pay. The circular says that the party has to pay the entire interest in the single mode of payment. This is a condition they have set. So, but nowadays even party, they are not paying the interest that has been credited in the account. They say that government has waived the interest. It is not the question of waiver. It is question of the postponement of interest of March, April, May, June, July, August. It is not the waiver of all the months' interest. So interest debited has to be immediately paid after the completion of the deferment period. This is what that is being stated in the circular. Interest debited, accrued or simple, has to be paid immediately after completion of the deferment period. And banks have got the power to convert the interest portion as funded interest term loan. They say that for the 6 months, the banks, if they feel, they can convert all the interest as one term loan. that term loan is called as funded interest term loan or FITL. For this repayment of FITL, they will also issue separate sanction. This FITL can be paid within a period of 1 year or 6 months or 3 months, but it depends on the banks. For this, you have to see the sanction letter issued by the branch or regional office. So the accumulated interest has to be treated as FITL. It has to be treated as normal. It has to be treated as a separate loan as FITL. To repay the FITL, the bank may say that it's a bullet payment, or it may be paid in 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. For this, the branch, they have to issue the separate sanction letter. Loan for another loan interest. Yes, sir. Normally, Suraj sir, bankers, what they will do in order to avoid NPA, they convert all the overdue amount and overdue interest as a separate loan. Normally, we are going to the audit and we are seeing only the closing balance. Sir, this is another loan. This is another loan. But you have to see if they convert the excess interest into the separate loan, you have to see whether to avoid this transaction done or not. That point you have to go through it. And if you satisfy that, if they remove the interest in order to avoid NPA, then you have to reverse those interest to the account and you can say that this is an NPA account. So here the government has given specific permission to the borrowers that if the accrued interest, that is overdue interest after 29 to, that is interest eligible from March to August, that has to be converted into as a FITL, funded interest term loan. Next one is FITL to be repaid on or before 31/3/2021. This is also the circular says that that is the up to 31/8/2020, all those interests have to be repaid on or before 31/3/21. This is what the circular says. So this point also you have to see whether it has to be paid in a bullet payment or repayment of within 3 months or 6 months. But all the FITL with reference to conversion has to be paid on or before 31/3/2021. If not paid before, yes sir, Suraj, you asked, yes, I won't pay, then regular norms of NPA are applicable. If the due date is 31/3/2021, if it is not paid from the due date, then up to, from the due date up to 90 days, the party has to pay. If it is not paid, then that FITL also to be treated as NPA as per the norms. Next one is DP relief. So because of this postponement of calculation of interest and DP power. DP means drawing power. Drawing power towards the stock and debtors have also been postponed till 31/8. Only after 31/8, all the 31/3, all the working instead, that is restoration of DP comes into the effect. There also they have given some concession to change the DP. You can give the waiver towards DP calculation also. The restoration of DP to original level has to be done by 31/3/2021. If not pay, it's covered within 1 year NPA. Sir, we have to treat up to 31/8/2020, no NPA. Okay, next thing, the account, it applies only to the principal. If it is not paid, then you can apply the NPA norms. But Supreme Court has already stated those classification. That is, you are not supposed to apply, you are not supposed to consider the NPA vote till further orders. They have given the stop towards calculation of NPA. But with reference to interest, the circular clearly says that it has to be FITL, has to be paid on or before 31/3/2021. And the drawing power calculation towards the NPA classification has also been postponed up to 31/3/2021. We don't know. Some even tomorrow also you would have received some Supreme Court order. This is what I am. This is what we are discussing as of the restoration of DP means applicability. Abhilaksha, restoration of DP. You asked about what is restoration of DP means. What is restoration? So up to now, up to 31.3, you need not worry about the DP. That means no, don't check the stock statement. Don't calculate the drawing cover, but you have to check the stock statement. If the stock statement is not submitted, then you have to apply penal interest. Okay, only the classification is postponed for want of interest, for want of principal, for want of DP. Up to 31/3/2021. Up to 31/3/2021, you need not bother about the DP. You need not bother about the what's that? FITL loan. It has to be that interest portion. You need not bother. That has to be postponed. Next one is downgrading is not possible. Same status. Same as usual, because downgrading is not possible in CC rescheduling, because as per the RBI circular, up to 31/8/2020, that account has to be treated as if it is standard, substandard. But rescheduling is not possible for the NPA accounts in term loan and CC loan, because only standard assets have to be rescheduled. So please tell NPA based on 31/12/2020 or not. NACPOL, that's why I said till Supreme Court gives its final verdict, we don't know anything about NPA classification. We have to see that on 29, if the account is standard as on 29/2020, even right now also treated as standard. Okay, because the Supreme Court says till further orders, you need not worry. So this point you have to bear in mind, whether it is for 31/12/2020, 39/2020, 31/10/2020, whether if that account is NPA, don't bother about the NPA classification. Till we receive the final order of Supreme Court, then only we will come to a conclusion. That's why I said even tomorrow morning also we can get the order. Then if we receive the Supreme Court order on such and such date, then we will meet once again with the reference to the classification on the order effect of Supreme Court about the NPA once again. Till now, you don't know, I don't know, nobody knows what is the status of that account. If the status on 29/2020, as of now, that account will be treated as standard only. Last 3 point, once again, the third point, interest debited. This one, interest debited or accrued or simple. See, interest debited into the account. Normally, in a cash credit account, every month the banks, they have to charge the interest. But as per the sanctioned terms and conditions, this interest has to be paid within 3 days of the following month. If it is not paid, then the bankers, they will force and they ask the party to remit the interest. But here, the government has given the moratorium of you need not pay the interest till moratorium. They have given the cushion, but they say that during the moratorium, that account need not be converted as NPA. Then how and where we have to report about all these NPA account and about the last restoration. What's it? So restoration means, as of now, DP calculation is not applicable, but you are supposed to continue, go and get the stock statement, data statement as usual, but DP will not be given effect in those accounts. If the account is standard, then DP is not applicable till 31/3/2021. Only after the date, DP calculations are applicable. And then, sir, this year, no MOC for Shilpa, your account directly to me. As of now, if the account is standard, last year classification, that's all. This is my opinion. I don't know about you. The account is standard as on 29/2, but the next auditor, if he has classified as that account as substandard, you can pass MOC that the substandard has occurred because of the period after 29/2020. So there is no, we will not give more MOC. But if Supreme Court order says on the reverse side, okay, you consider from with 31/8/2020, then all the NPA norms are applicable. You have to prepare, you have to do lot of working so that lot of MOCs also will be there. So we don't know. That's why I said, you don't know, I don't know anything about this. Still, we have to wait for the Supreme Court order. Then this year MOC, yeah, and then how and where we have to report all these NPA. No reporting of court gives the Supreme Court gives the order. We have to, sir. We have to consider only the status as on 29/2/2020. Now I am going to discuss as the Supreme Court order is a very, very simple, but Supreme Court order state the proceedings. They say that moratorium available up to 31/8/2020. So the government has already given the moratorium up to 31/8/2020 for all those accounts which are standard as on 29/2020. This is the first point you have to see. Second thing is Supreme Court has passed its order on 3/9/2020 say that the accounts which were not declared as NPA till, they say that the accounts which have not been declared as NPA till 31/8/2020, it shall not be declared as NPA till further orders, and still it has to be continued. And still now as on date, the interim order holds good because this stay has not been lifted by Supreme Court as of now. That is afternoon 3:30. I don't know now what about now. At 3:30, around 3:30, I have seen the RBI circulars and I have seen the messages, Google's, and nothing has come with reference to the Supreme Court order. Next thing, what is the government view on Supreme Court order? See, Supreme Court has stated those accounts which have been declared as standard as on 31/8/2020, they say that those accounts need not be classified as NPA till further orders. It is only an interim order. It is not a final order. Need not be classified as NPA. They say that everything they kept in abeyance. That is, classification is being kept in abeyance, and the order still holds good now because so far we have not received any final order. And what is this government view on the Supreme Court order? For ascertaining the status as on 29/2, Rajan asked, can we rely on the NPA statements prepared by bank as on 31/12/20, or should we ensure the repayment December, January, February? Sir, normally, Naraj sir, I want to say one thing. The NPA classification has to be done by the previous auditor. If you say that account is NPA, then he has to mention the NPA date. What is the NPA date? If the NPA date falls after 29/2020, you can give the MOC. Because they say that as before, say if the previous auditor say that the NPA date is 3rd of March, then on 29th of February, that account is standard. So that account has to be given effect in the MOC. You have to give the reverse. Accounts marked as which otherwise would have been recorded as NPA as per IRAC and need to verify that the income for those accounts. Yes, sir. If any your interests have been reversed, that you have to do the reversal work. And if not other matter paragraphs are anywhere you can report. But the thing is, you have to see as of the 29/2/2020, that account to be treated as standard. And for this, you have to verify the previous auditor's report because you are going audit for the period from 1/4/2020 to 31/3/2021. So you need not enter into the jurisdiction of the previous auditor. If the previous auditor say that it's the standard as on 31/3, then also you can go and verify that is up to 29/2020, that account has to be treated as standard. But as on 31/3/2020, if the auditor says that account is standard, you can agree. But if the auditor has identified that account as standard that is substandard as on during the month of March, then you have to give effect in MOC. Then I'll answer the question later part, but I'll go with the Supreme Court. What's the government view on the Supreme Court order? One is the Finance Ministry has said that it is finding it difficult to finalize the recapitalization program for the public sector banks due to the Supreme Court stay on classification of loan accounts as non-performing because they have to make the provision. Bankers, they have to make the provision. So it's so far it is the opinion given by it's a view given by the finance ministry officials. So they find it difficult to finalize the recapitalization program for the public sector. One, any amount can be thought of, or if there is any estimate. See, I can say that the bank should have got some 20 crores addition to the existing NPA. Any amount can be done, but on account of Supreme Court order, it is not possible now. So you cannot assume this is going to be NPA. So this is not possible because of this stay given by the Supreme Court in its interim order. In his order dated 9/3/9, the Apex Court has said that accounts that were not declared as NPA till 31/8/2020 shall not be declared as NPA till further orders. The 6 months loan moratorium period ended on 31/8, under which the borrower were given the option to defer their EMI. So if that is EMI means any principal repayment. It is simply they say that as per the government order, it is 31/8/2020, you have to see the status of the account. So for this, you have to refer the 29/2020 classification. Even finance ministry say that it is very difficult for them to calculate the NPA working. Now, the RBI has already represented this case before Supreme Court. The RBI has already pleaded before Supreme Court to lift the stay on classification of loan accounts as NPA. It is submitted that this honorable court had given an across the board stay on classification of any account as NPA till further orders. If the stay is not lifted immediately, it shall have huge implications. This is the view of the RBI that they have submitted before they have pleaded before the Supreme Court. It shall have huge implication for the banking system, apart from undermining the regulatory mandate of the RBI. The central government has said in a counterfeit. This is what they have submitted in the affidavit, which has been filed before the Supreme Court in October. This is what they have pleaded before the Supreme Court during the month of October. Next one is the decision is still pending. Next, what our institute says, I'll tell. They say that due to Supreme Court interim order, this has been done in the guidance note of books on banks on 2021. Our ICA said that due to Supreme Court interim order, the bank has classified on account as NPA, thought it has to be done. Then the auditor has to ensure that a suitable disclosure to that effect is given in the audit report. They say that you have to give it in writing in the order, in the report, and in the accounts which are not marked as NPA by the bank, income on such account should be recognized on accrual. Because if any account is being identified NPA, you are not supposed to pass any entry. It has not been identified as NPA, but suppose if the bank, based on the Supreme Court order, yes, they have not they have not identified that account as NPA, then to that extent, our institute says that you have to give some provisioning into the account, and you have to give everything specific. It's a specific disclosure is required, and it has to be given in your report. This is what said about the thing, and I'll answer some few questions which have been raised. After Natarajan, the Supreme Court passed the final order on 27/11/2020. When we received the final order, does it not mean that interim order? Yeah, if it passes the final order, okay. But so far, I came to know that final order has not been passed. Please repeat the last comment about the reversal. Shilpa, wait, welcome. Sir, what about the NPS that were classified as NPA after 31/5? Before they say that on 30, see, the RBI has clearly given the moratorium that those accounts should not be classified as NPA. If it is done by NPA also, you can give the reversal based on the RBI. Because you are not supposed to classify those accounts which have been standard as on 29/2/2020 till 31/8/2020, but by mistake or some other manner, the branch has classified that account as NPA, you can give MOC that those accounts should not be treated as NPA based on the RBI. Shall we continue to treat it as NPA if the if you see, if you feel that that account is standard, you can give that point in your report. Then what Narayan sir asked, previous auditor would have identified only on 31/3/19. No, sir. The previous audit period is 31/3/2020. You are going for the audit for the year 2021. You know, I think you are doing, you are just filing the income tax return. We have to do the audit for the period from 1/4/2020 to 31/3/2020. You have to consider only the what's that, 31/3/21 balance sheet. As news, loan moratorium case, Supreme Court to deliver judgment tomorrow on plea seeking waiver of interest on interest. Yes, I think Suraj sir, you have updated the forum. The plea was heard by the bench of Justice Ashok Bhushan and Subhash Reddy and M.R. Shah, Mr. Shah. However, the verdict will be read out by the bench led by the Justice Chandrachud. Reporting by the auditor in the statutory audit report, the auditor should suitably include the emphasis of matter paragraphs related to that to the audit report as in SA 706. Yes, sir. In case if the auditee bank has made the required provision, however, does not make the disclosure for the treatment in the accounts which are not considered as NPA by the bank, which otherwise would have become NPA as in the interim order dated, yeah, sir, interim order. So whatever is that as of now, if the branch has done, if the branch has not classified that account as NPA, don't worry. And if they classify as NPA, you have to see whether that has been done before 29/2/2020. So that means NPA is not, has to be, should not be classified for the period from 1/3/2020 and as of now. Supreme Court judgment tomorrow. Thank you very much, and please explain point 3. For any reason the account to be classified as NPA, what will it be? Yes sir, KV Prakash. That's why we are here to discuss, and we are here not to have the contempt of court proceedings. So very simple. If for any reason there's a contempt of court, yes, I do agree. But we need not bother whether it's a contempt of court or not. But thing is, if the branch has wrongly classified as one account as NPA, you can give MOC saying that as per the RBI circular, it has to be treated as only standard. So you can do the reversal. You can do the reversal from substandard to standard. You can do the reversal. And I'm moving to the next point of part of the slide. What's the result? Wait till 31/3/2021 for updation of Supreme Court verdict and read all SBI circulars clearly. That is in, you have to try to read the RBI circular notifications. Go to the Google, type RBI circular. You'll be led to that site, and you can find a lot of circulars issued during the month of March. And you have to also read the bank's closure circular. With reference to this, you have to go and ask for the bank's closure circular and decide the position of IRAC norms as per the circular issued by the banks. And with reference to IRAC, I want to suggest this. Kindly go through this circular dated 1/7/2015, which still it holds good with reference to classification of NPA. So with reference to RBI, they have done a restructuring of MSME. For that, they have issued 3 circulars. For the COVID-19, they have issued 4 circulars. So towards term loan and working capital loan, and towards further extension up to 31/8/2020. But there also they say that the 180 days norms with reference to the time given to residential professional, the 90 days, 180 days plus 90 days they have extended. But this is not, this is only for general interest I put. but this is not required for the NPA classification. But this is with reference to case completion of the case by the resolution professional. That is also a circular issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Then you have to see the 17/2015 circular for your reference and do the NPA identification based on the above circular. So this is the thing I want to say, and I want to say thank you very much. And if you have got any doubt, you are welcome. And sometimes due to that continuous questions, some questions have been omitted. And if you want, you can ask anything. Even right now also you can ask, no problem. Suraj sir, all circular covered? Yes sir, according to me, 3 circulars towards MSME restructuring, three circulars towards COVID, and 1 circular towards IBBI, that is stressed asset applicable for resolution professional. Only these circulars I have taken note of. 3 + 4, 7 circulars I have covered. And tomorrow I will send the Google form. You just send the filled details. I will send all the PDF of all the circulars to your mail ID for your further reading. Required to go and read other circulars. Yes, sir, you read. The presentation will be shared here. It is, I say, I'm also going to upload this presentation in the YouTube. And in YouTube, all my PPT points will be there. You can go through it. And all the, even for the earlier sessions also, except cash verification I have not recorded. Others I have recorded. All those things I will definitely upload in the YouTube. You can go with the date I will upload. If you want, you can go and read, you can go and hear the YouTube for your verification. Thank you, Narayan sir. Yeah, let's ask this much question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is Kamala from Trichy, sir.
Madam, yeah, tell me, madam.
Sir, I have few doubts, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, FITL sanction பண்றாங்கல்ல sir, அது வந்து என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படினா
Speak in English because this question, because I know Tamil, you know Tamil, no?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, tell me.
Sir, FITL வந்து sanction பண்றது loan sanction officers என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படினா, it is automatically sanctioned from head office. We don't have any sanction letters. We don't have any borrower signatures on the documents for this specifically அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. As per statutory auditor, as well as a concurrent auditor, what we have to do for this?
See, as a concurrent auditor, you want the sanction letter. If the manager says that there is no specific sanction letter, you ask to give it in writing that there is no sanction letter, so that you will be safe. You say that there is no sanction.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Provide the circular, or you say that there is no circular, no sanction letter. You give it in writing, sir.
Okay.
If you refuse to give in writing, you make a point in your report saying that I have asked the sanction letter. The manager said like this, but he is not able to give any circular, so I want to give.
Actually, voice breaking, sir. The network problem, I think.
Okay.
Tell me.
Have you understand? You asked one thing. Not only this sanction letter, anything, you ask one thing, they are not able to provide the details, then you can ask him to commit it in writing, and if they refuse, you can report the same thing in your report. Then Pramila asked if any auditor is of the opinion that the account to be classified as NPA based on IRAC norms, like non-submission of statement for more than values, the auditor should not give MOC to be reclassified as per the yes. The thing is, you have to consider the status as on 29/2/2020. After that, you need not worry till Supreme Court passes this order. And Nagpal said, thank you. And no sanction letter, but there will be loan agreement. Yes. So they can enter into loan agreement, any agreement. If they want to do the restructuring, it has to be supported by sanction letter. If the head office has waived a sanction letter, then that point you have to cover in your report. And if there is any waiver as per the circular issued by the head office, okay. If there is no circular, then you have to give that, you have to get a letter from the manager that there is no circular issued by the bank. Based on that, you can do the audit. Sir, what is the check in deposit side? Maybe it may be a small part of session. Yeah, just Suraj, I'll try to complete that portion also. It is not small, sir. Deposit verification is also a very big area wherein you require minimum 2 hours. Should we pass MOC for reversal of income treated in the books of account? Yes, that you have to do it. Can we get the red flagged account list in the miscellaneous report in MIS report, or can we search and get it? Sir, Kamala ma'am, you can ask the manager to produce the list of red flag accounts. They have to produce it. If they are not produced, you can say that the branch has not produced those lists for my verification. We not classify the account as NPA, and but what about provisions? Provision has to be taken care of by the head office. For this, please go and verify, or please go and read the sanction letter. And I want to say one information. Today's attendance is 101. So I think we have reached essentially 100 members. And any doubt or anything you can ask. Yes, Suraj sir. We are not classified the account as NPA, but provision do. Sir, the role of providing provision, it is left to the central auditors. We are just recommending whether that account is standard or substandard. That's all. Normally, this you can find from the appointment letter. If master data not updated for restructuring accounts, how can we get, sir? If the master records have not been updated with reference to restructuring advances, then you have to give that point, that irregularity in your report. That's all. You need not bother. The master records have not been updated. But the production of red flag accounts, now you have to give a, I think this year you have to give a specific report about the red flag accounts. So all the details have to be furnished by the bank to you for your verification. Then only you have to give the report. Sir, please explain, have you come across case of frequent renewal rollover of short-term loans? If yes, give the details of the such accounts. Suraj, frequent renewal or rollover, this is nothing but ad hoc loans sanctioned by the branch. For this, there is one register called ad hoc register. You go and ask for the ad hoc register, and if the more than the sanction limit, there is sanction more than the sanction limit. If outstanding is there, on scrutiny also you can find it. You can find it. So it's not a ad hoc sanction, is to be called as the renewal. That is a frequent renewal or rollover. Normally, frequent renewal means renewal for 15 days. The loan is already due. Renewal for 15 days. Renewal that is for another 20 days. It is called as frequent renewal. You need not bother. If the loan is not renewed within 180 days, up to the date, okay, frequent renewal can be done. Beyond that, that account has to be treated as NPA. Sir, can we explain the difference? Can you explain the difference between rescheduled and restructuring? So in restructuring, you are modifying all terms and conditions. In reschedulement, you are postponing the payment. That's all. Again, restructuring, you are modifying the terms and conditions. You are modifying the repayment mode and everything. That is called as restructuring. Reschedulement, it's a schedule of repayment is being postponed. You are not modifying the EMI. Then exactly what the transaction LFR maximum renewal is 180 days. As NACPAR, it's 180 days. Suraj asked how the practical for the auditors, whether correct or not. valid credit rating if available, the cost of credit facilities available to the bank, RBI affiliated with credit rating agencies. Credit rating agencies is not relevant to this session. Actually, the credit rating, all credit rating agencies have to be approved by RBI. The bank, all those borrowers who have got more than 5 crores, they have to get the credit rating from the approved agencies of RBI. And what's the rate given by the credit rating agencies? The branch they have to follow, based on which the interest rate is being fixed. Based on that, the loan amount will be fixed. In the first slide, you mentioned that the reschedulement cover wise does not include restructuring. By mistake also I would have done that, Shilpa. Now, 2 messages I have received. Thanks for 5 crores. Suraj sir, 5 crores, not for 5 crores. Loan amount sanctioned 5 crores and above, they have to get the credit rating agencies. And thank you very much. And just I'm winding up the session. And tomorrow I'll send another Google form to you will be getting all the recent RBI surplus for your file through mail. I'll check. Thank you very much for a wonderful session. Thank you, Kamala ma'am. And just winding up the session. Thank you very much, and you can leave.